There we go. That should be it. Huh? Okay. So what is this whole situation? What is it that we're gonna be doing? Alright. What all do we need? So for one, we need to do draw. Doing a draw. Okay. Um, so, what do we want? So some of the things we want to do is, and here I'm gonna do. Actually, so things we want, right? So I said that I was going to, but I never did. Just write notes while Otto was playing my game. There were a few really good, um, points spoken and brought up. Right? One is, let's see, I right. Knob. I mean, so I think what I want to do is I want to have an actual, like an actual, like an actual menu or something, right? Let's do. So yeah, we want the a proper proper debug menu. In it, we want the I. We want the I height. We want the I pull, I guess. I pull. Um. Okay. And the I pull is the position relative pivot, like how far back it's pulled. Right now it's set at 0.25, right? At a quarter of a tile. And the tiles are twice as tall as they are wide. Those were two things. I think the speed. Now, these are some things that. Right, so some notes that we've heard. Some notes that we've heard. I mean, and this is another thing, is that, like, I don't know if I necessarily agree with the eye height. The eye pull, though, this stuff is really cool, right? Actually, let's actually take a look at the feedback, right? So we've taken a look at what we want. What we should do is take a look at the actual statements. Alright. One is we were hello. How is the skunker today? How is the skunker? Said that it feels a bit tall. And like that's something that I'm pretty okay with, right? Another one is that the static doesn't quite seem isn't quite right. 3 is furniture. And there are some things. So this one, I'm okay with this one. This one is just manipulating the curve. Right. This is a curve manip. In furniture, this is a technical limitation. This is technical. Right. So for furniture, like in that, and also like we have a tile map, but we don't have. We don't have. Oh, that's another thing. Is the map work his ass? Yeah. Yeah. I need to follow IB a little bit more. Or is the a more variable. Alright. So I think that's one thing that we could do as well. In particular, that's something that we could do. Right. So I'm also really not happy with the XOR taking up fucking 14% CPU. I don't know what the hell that's up about. I mean, the CPU usage isn't the worst, I guess. I mean, I also don't know exactly how big I want it to be. So let's take a look at some of the things that we could do. Uh, and I think what I want to do is I think I still want to do 64 by 64. Because if we do a 64 by 64, then I can do some good stuff. Right. That'll give me much more to Okay. Cool. This is perfect. And then what we can do is we can take a look at the where is it? There it is. Okay. And then here what we can do is we can set it to that. Yeah. So yeah. Whoops. So let's do. So we want to have. Yeah, the next release. Yeah. Okay, so we have this set up here, right? We have that. It's good. And what we want to do is we want to have more we want to have, let's say, some more corridor stuff, right? So we have a corridor here. We could do so the main thing is that I want to see what it feels like to have a different you know, because this is going to be like quite a bit bigger, right? And again, like this is something that's going to be a little bit strange. Because I also want to see what going along these corridors feels like. We want like to have this loop here. We want to have something along these lines here. And honestly, I also want to see what this shape feels like. And I want to see, I want to feel out what, this shape feels like. Right? And like this is kind of a little bit strange, right? There we go. That's a good little doobly doo the doobly jam. And then we can say have yet another. You know, what does having a corridor like that look like in game? What does having a corridor like this look like in game? And again, like all this is going to go into prop gen, right? Because proc gen is going to be a huge part. I want the proc gen. But I also think that even still, so far, this is going to be, you know, there needs to be a change in scenery every 30 seconds. In game, right? So having this is nice and all, but it's not very good. Do I want to do an editor? Do I want to do a level editor, like an engine and stuff? So I totally could. Like I have the power to do that. It just depends on whether or not I want to actually put that kind of energy towards. Right, because this is going to be huge. Right? It'd be a lot better if I could split this up. And this is going to be a huge room. I already know this is gonna be huge. It's gonna be big. It's gonna be like fucking turbo big. Right? Do this instead. Interesting. What? What the fuck are you talking about, honestly? You're talking about the upgrade. No, I have no idea. Um, Burn the band. That. You know, the crazy thing about Garden Ban is that it's like not actually that bad, but it is. Like, it's just excessively lengthy, right? Like, it's not like it's fundamentally bad. It's just horrifically poorly executed, you know. Nonde? Nani? How? Eh? Interesting. Oh, good. Dice drop down. Interesting. Huh. So. Here, what do we want? You know, this is a nice size, right? Also, keep in mind that the map is like flipped, kind of. So like it's mirrored along the axis. So this is the Huh? Yeah. Okay. So if I wanted this to make more sense, I would interesting. Okay. Because one of the things I can do is I can flip the pixels. So this kind of corridor set looks fine. Okay, go along there. See, no, this corridor is already way too long. Right? Like that super long corridor feels really bad. And then it's a turn, and then it's nothing. Right? The yeah. Well, it's less about taking the criticism and more about um, the manner in which they're doing it, right? Because like one of the things that they could have benefited from is like once like people started to say like, oh, this runs like X, Y, and Z, this doesn't run too well, it doesn't feel that good to play or whatever. They could have taken that criticism and actually, you know, used the criticism. Ooh. Do I want to have procedural generation? Or do I just want to manually do everything? Because if I manually do everything... Okay, here, why would you ever go in here? You know there's not going to be anything in here. So why would you ever go in here? Oh, fuck, do I want to do procedural generation? Shit. Do I want to do procedural generation, or do I want to do... I'm not really familiar with Vanish. Because if I do... I haven't watched Markiplier in a while. Minus 4, 1 minus 4, all squared, 1 minus 8, all squared, something like that. Because I can change the fall off. See, there's a lot of this that I really like. Now, the problem is replayability. I mean, interesting. Um, that's actually a really cool idea. Okay, so if I have... If this bright... break up of space... Because if I do... So here we have the full, unadulterated, the whole basement. Here we have the incomplete map. So... I mean, this is also going to be pretty good too. So I can see what it's like to have like full... Okay, so I actually... A lot of the feedback that I got was kind of like fluff. Right? Which is a good thing. That means that a lot of the things that feel like they're missing is like most of the vibiness is kind of rock solid. I still kind of want to lean into the vibe a little bit harder. And also some more technical shit. So... If that's gonna be enough coffee. Where the cat is. That's looking like it's gonna be way too watery. Mm. I don't think I did. I don't think this one was particularly concentrated. And better. Yeah, I'll have to check that out at some point. Yeah, I saw. I got it. On the Discord. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so basically, like, the big thing is that I want, because there's a big part of ProcGen. A big part of ProcGen is that it means that you can focus on other aspects of your game, but they tend to be a lot more technically, it tends to be a lot more technically challenging to actually do, to, like, actually resolve good like level design. It's a lot easier to design a level when it's a person designing. It's a lot more difficult to generate a level, right? Like, procedural generation is a very difficult task. It is an incredibly technically challenging aspect of game design. Because you have to, you know, design everything through math, essentially, right? And that's not exactly something that's super easy to do. So having that, you know, be like a core facet that I want to maintain, yeah, it'd be very difficult because there's a lot of things that you can come up with, and you can manually tool things to draw the player towards certain rooms, towards certain areas, towards certain things. Interesting. Interesting. Yeah, that sounds like fucking dog shit. um, that's interesting. I don't know. Love resize. I love that resize. Okay, so let's do I love that resize. Alright. So here we have a mode. Function love that resize. So yeah. Mm. Um, because then we could do this. Um, and this will work properly. And I think, yeah, because the draw is always going to be drawing across the. So. Okay. So that does work very slowly. Hmm. Yeah. That's just bad game design. So what's... This is way too far. So a lot of this is sterility, right? A lot of this is sterility, like a lot of... There's a lot of... Because I feel like I need to keep up snappiness. Like I like the actual speed. Right? The speed themselves are nice because it's very... Hmm. So what is x minus y? What would x minus y look like? Because I could do a lot of things, right? Because I can... The entire idea of it being just... Yeah. It's like almost 8 o'clock. Why is it so bright outside? No, I mean, I'm talking about, like, within the context of a shader. Right? Because I could do... Let's take a look at... Yeah, because we have the screening view, right? Um, call is equal to suv.x dot y minus, well, it's a vec3. So vec3. All right. Let's see what happens. Cool. Map on page 214. Let's see if green is uniform F. If not shader dot has uniform uniform I still need to set up the I still need to set up yeah, I still need to like set up a bunch of stuff. If if not here. I think that's it. Yeah. Okay. So oh yeah, I should probably say what it is that I'm trying to do. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to make it so that I have some way of managing, because I want to knock the corners. I want to chamfer the corners of the bricks. Alright, I really want to do that. And I suspect that it's actually pretty easy to do. But okay, this is negative. Oh, what? Monday. Thursday. Tuesday. 2:30. Screen. Because because your girl's a dumbass. I'm drinking wyvern poison. There. So here, this region, you can't see it, but this region is, I think if I do, fractional component of 1 dot plus yeah, okay. I think a quarter? 1 dot, maybe a quarter? I mean, I don't really know what. Well, let's go into a -1 to 1. Right? Should be. -5 times 2. Yeah, -1/2 times 2. Okay, so that's from -1 to 1. Yeah. Yeah, it's -1 to 1. So interesting. By far. Multitude cycle. Interesting. I mean, I don't know. So, from a card games, I don't feel like that's a particularly good idea. Because from a card game aspect, from like the idea itself is really interesting, but I don't think that it would work very well. From a card game aspect, a large part of a card game is having the limitation on the number of copies of cards. So if you have some kind of diminishing returns mechanism, then everyone's only going to roll one of them in the deck, period. Right. Not only that, but how do you police it? Granted, in a digital card game, it's easy to police because you can just have it all. Yeah. I mean, that's fair. Yeah. I mean, what was it? Fucking Magic the Gathering had something like that, though. Also, like from a puzzle standpoint, I don't think card games like a card like that would be particularly good either. Yeah, like a sliver or something like that. I can't remember what they're called. You can basically have like there's like so many of them that you can build just a sliver deck. Unrestricted pawns. Hello. Hello. How is? Okay, so I have those two things. Oh. Okay. I'm hanging in there. Better than some, worse than others. I'm doing okay. I'm putting in some good some solid work into this. Oh, interesting. Yeah. No, I mean I got it, but like I also knew that like Magic the Gathering also had like the slivers and stuff too, because the slivers were fucking ridiculous. But that was a little bit different. It was more like a subtype. Ah. Um. Okay, so. Interesting. But how do I? So. Okay, I think I'm okay with Krita Come on, go away, go away, go away now. Are you just stuck forever now? Okay. Fine. Yeah, I'm gonna close that. Yeah. But yeah, I'm doing trying to figure out some things. Bring this bad boy up. So, you know what else I'm gonna do? I'm going to do a little bit of this and a little bit of this isn't quite working out. Yeah, whatever. Oh, that's like shit. Yeah. I just want to draw a better. Do better. Like, you know, something like that. There we go. There we go. That's an answer. Awesome. Okay. So enough fucking around. Let's be productive, shall we? Right? So what is it that we want to try? What is it that we want to do? So we have, you know, we have this is the assumed direction. We want to have a normal vector. Huh. Hmm. Mm-hmm. We have four. We have four vectors. We have four normals, actually. We have, yeah, four normals. One from each of these, right? And then, because you can always do n hat dot p hat equals. Which means that once we have shit. Fuck. Blit. How about that? Is that better? It's not swearing if it's not swearing if it's in English. If it's not in English, it's only swearing if it's in English. Blit. Merde. Okay. 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 Let's go up to what wall? Wall text. Okay. Bricks. Make bricks. Clamp man. Here. This is where we have the XY. So the corners are going to be that. Let's do vex3 vv dot x. Let's find out what this actually looks like. Okay, so it is Okay. We are oh. Internet. Alright, none of my that's right. Strange. So that's cool. Money. Number. Okay, I know. Hmm. Do not static. If not. If not, then. Wait, that's. If yeah. If not screen player position. Gotcha. Oops. We have these guys, right? All I have is the X and the Y. So at this point, I have, because I only really care if it's near the middle, right? And the things that they're each tied to an equal. I mean, possibly. I mean, you still could anyway, but. Because you just introduce another important character in the second game. And then, you know, and that character's whole thing could be all about gaslighting. Just saying. Right. The extra color in the second game, the character tied to it, their whole personality would be about gaslighting. Because the whole point of that particular color's existence is to gaslight the entire, internal world that it always existed, even though it didn't. Right? This whole retcon, thing. So, like, you can totally do that. That's something you can do. There's nothing stopping you. When you have stupid, silly, silly and dumb ideas like that, you should always lean into them, or at least think about the implications, right? I mean, you could. Yeah. There's always ideas. There's always things that one could do. Okay, so we have all those, but how do we really do like that? Okay. Gremlin noises. Okay, so. So we have. Yep. Sometimes people have smart ideas. Sometimes that people is me. So we have that, right, and we have 0. Right, and we also have 0. No, actually, let's do this properly. Alright. So we need to look at the gradient. So the highest point is going to be over here. Yeah, like this, right? And also like this. So here, this is the boundary. I want a boundary here, a boundary here. So it's going from 0. It is increasing. So I don't think it's the maximum. Because we want it to be flat. We want the iso lines to be like this. This is where we want our iso lines. Right. I can round the corner. I can round the corner by multiplying 2. If I multiply 2, then we can multiply the corners. Ooh, that looks like shit. Yeah, that looks fucking awful. That does look like fucking dog shit. Okay. And that is absolute fucking chaos. Uh-huh. Right. Interesting. Yeah, it's based on memories. Mm-hmm. And what the fuck is going on with my shit? My music is like way too loud, isn't it? There we go. Now you guys can actually fucking hear me. My music was way too loud there. Yeah, I know, but the memories being tied to memories and stuff would be a good one. What the fuck, man? There we go. Up just a little bit. Guess you could do it that way. Okay. So let's take a look here. I still want to knock those corners down. The hell? So I really want that gradient to be. And what happens if I do X maximum? So let's see what happens when we do. Uh-huh. Fucking. We've all seen these kinds of fences. Oh, I hate it. I hate it so much. Oh, that's gross. This is the most disgusting thing I've ever laid eyes on. I fucking hate it. I hate this. I hate it so much. Looks like it's rounded. Weird. I really don't like that. Is that going to actually work well? I mean, I guess there's only one. Um, yeah. This is the bird game. Right. Why would we need to add in another monster slot? I mean, and we don't have to add that for the second game. Right? And there's a lot of things you can do to play around with it, right? Um, this is going to be uv.x. Well, okay, lots of interesting. It's interesting nonsense. So we're doing it in group. Okay. So what I'm seeing is doing it along that. So Gotcha. Yeah, no, that makes sense. How's that those boots? So what kind of all that I really need to do, right? All that I really need to do is figure out what kind of, it's that what is that environment? I mean, it's not. What is the invariance? Y equals what? Y equals what? At the gradient. What is the invariance? Right? That's the thing that we need to know. Is it x plus y? I think it's x plus y. Instead of x minus y. BX. I think. This is probably going to be bad enough. Yeah. Interesting. What do we see here? So we do see. Oh, but it's writing it exactly. Which means if we want that cut, we need to extrapolate that more. Right? So if we want, because what happens is that in 3 dimensions, this gradient, like this gradient is working, right? It's just that it's not harsh enough. Which means that if we want it to have if we want to have that notch happening, then we want to like make it way sharper. Okay. So one of the things we could do here is times 8 dot. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, that's what we expected. Okay. So, we actually don't want that. So those are chonky, but it looks like that is the proper. I think that's the proper, yeah. So we are getting somewhere. A little bit of a notch. That's right. Yep. I think that's it. I think we nailed it. Fucking nailed it. There we go. Math. And you thought you didn't need math after school. Math is only useful in school. Ha. There's your lack of math knowledge now, boy. Alright, cool. So I have the little notches like I wanted. I mean, you could. I mean, it would also be really interesting because you go from 7 to 8, you go from 7 to 10, and then they make it a huge deal that there's two new characters, and then the third one is just memories, right? So they make it very clear that you're introducing characters, and then one of them just kind of sneaks in and just act like they've always been there. Or some such thing like that, right? Um, although I don't know how that would work thematically, because I don't know if there'd be a commandment that would actually operate very well for that, right? Let's say times that minus that. I mean, we'll see. That is way too much. So could actually do a plus. Not a plus. Let's do minus would be plus. I think I want to, because I want it to have like the same kind of things, but right, they kind of like cut it like an angle. Open to messing around with shaders and shit. Okay, so that doesn't work. Yeah. It's still not hitting it. Huh. Interesting. ¿Por qué? Why? The minimum of BV plus BVX plus BVY times 0.5. Interesting. Okay. Okay. Ooh. Oh, ooh. That is really cool looking. Okay. So I want to have 0.65, I think. Oh, times 0.5 minus 0.05. And then we have still like really, I think, but I kind of think I like that. Okay. I think that's the proper way. What do you think? What do you use all this? Yeah, what do you use things? What do you use people's things? Does that look good to you? Do you think it should be a little bit more subtle? A little bit less? Is that too much? Is that too much of a nit? No. Does that make it look too rounded? Because I like having, yeah. There's like It's kind of hard to dial it in just right, I feel like. Because the only other option would be doing this yet again, which is 375. Ooh. Oh, now hold on. Hold on a second. I think that's perfect. I think that's fucking perfect. That's mint. That's mint right there. That's fucking mint. Oh, that's fucking. Oh, that's perfect. It's nice and subtle. Ooh. Oh. Ooh. Oh. Mm. Mm. I'm gonna pre. I'm gonna pre algebra. I'm gonna pre. I'm gonna pre. I'm gonna pre algebra. Oh, that looks so fucking good. Oh, that looks great. Oh. Oh, and in full screen. Oh, baby. Oh, baby. Ooh, Sonic. Ooh, Sonic. Ooh, Sonic. Okay. I think I think I think I think I shot and I missed. And I shot again and I missed again. And then I got sad. And then I had a pause. And then I shot and I missed. Oh, that's fucking great. Oh, that's fucking spot on. Oh, that's perfect. That shit is fucking mint, motherfuckers. Ooh. Ooh, super jets. Ooh. Ooh. Ooh, it looks so good. Oh, fucking Otter's gonna I'm not gonna mention it at all. I'm just not gonna mention it. Even remotely. I'm just gonna wait until he says something. It's so subtle. Um yeah, I'm just gonna see if he notices the change. I think I'm gonna keep the head height the same because if we go into here, right, the player eye, right, we make this one, right, and there's something kind of weird that happens. Since we're down here, this doorway doesn't look right. Right? Like this doorway doesn't look right. This looks like there needs to be something above it. Right? It looks like it's this scale doesn't seem this scale seems wrong. This immediately looks out of place. Right? It also makes it feel like you're like a child. Um and then if I make it it says slightly better, but I don't know, the doorway still looks wrong. Right? But if we do 7.5, no, actually, no, we want 0.5. This is like super fucking tall. Like we are scraping our dome on the ceiling. Right. This is what living in an actual basement feels like. Okay. Like you are towering in this cramped space. I mean, yeah, adding stuff to oh god, that looks so wrong. That looks so bad. So, um, So, yeah. Right. So, there's... Like, all this is being rendered in a single shader, right? All of this is rendered in a single shader. So, there is a little bit of a discrepancy on how these things need to be created. Right? So, yeah. Um, I also need to do some file moving files around and stuff too. I don't know if I like that though. I don't know if I like how that works. That's like cutting into it rather than like reshaping it. So having plants and decorations is not going to be an easy task, right? Because all that I have is a tile map. That's all that I have, right? I just have a tile map, so I can't just like I can't just put things into the space. I could do because like I'll show you, right? So if we go back here, so we got this. This is great. This is awesome. Alright. So we have so let's do a little bit of a small right? Why is everything so fucking quiet? Oh, it's switching song. That or the playlist is going to be restarting soon. It has been quite some time, so about that time. I need to re-download the full one again, right? So here's the thing, is that I basically only have access to the 3 channels. Right? So I can color them. I can color each one white. Right, because I can do like white or what the fuck am I doing? What am I doing in here? Oh, I guess. I mean, it doesn't matter. So, these things are things that I can have. Right? Now, the problem exists in how do I, is if I really do this well. Because I can set the colors to be things. But I can do because in essence, you know, I basically only have like this is all that I have access to. That's kind of a problem. Alright. But I do have access to our G. Alright. So we have 0, 0, 0. Okay. We have access to 1, 0, 0. We have access to 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, 1. We also have access to like 1, 0, 1 and 1, 1, 0 and 0, 1, 1 and 1, 1, right? And these are all the ones that we have access to. Now, this one is reserved for a floor. This one is reserved for a wall, right? And then, so now we have these 6 that we can start doing stuff with. And in essence, all that we have to do is just kind of say that these are indices into some thing, right? You hit it, we see that, you know, it's one of these types. And we can also do, we could say that this is like a flagged system, where if it is a 1, it is of a type of a wall, so we have 3 walls and 3 floors, right? Which could be kind of interesting. So we could say like if R is equal to is 4, right? Or R is equal to, right? We could say R is equal to is wall. And then like we don't, because we also technically have alpha as well, right? Because we could like set the alpha and we could do some stuff there. Which means I'd have to set the like the canvas. But that'll also be very difficult for me to figure out what kind of like, and I can do much bigger things, right? Because like I showed you that I could do much bigger things, but I also have to think about repeatability and ability to actually and like my ability to actually, what do you call it, draw out the maps and stuff. If it's just generated, then it's fine. But if I'm actually drawing out the maps, then, you know, we have an issue. So I do really need to go to the bathroom. So I will be right back. And also, like I said, we could also do alpha, and then that way we have 16. We have like a whole 16. Um, whatchamacallit? I have like a whole 16 channel thing. Also, keep in mind that everything needs to be calculated all at once. Every possible branch needs to be evaluated. And that's kind of the problem. I just didn't look too deep. So, actually, let's. Okay. So, interesting. I mean, that could be something to think about, at the very least, right? Like, these are all ideas to explore. Game development is a creative, it is a creative expression of computer science. And as such, it is a science. There is a science to it. But a big part about science that a lot of people overlook is experimentation and exploration. That is what science is. That is what doing science is. Right? Even if you already know the answer, you want to explore and experiment and find out, to uncover the truth about things. Right? In the creative side of things is that is how you interpret those truths, right? That is where the creative side of game development comes from, is the interpretation of these truths. Because the truths are not concrete in the circle of computer science, in the circle of game development, right? There is no correct way to make a game. Otherwise, we would only have one game, right? And there would never be any new games, right? So the technical side of things, right? Some people really lean into the technical side of things, like such as myself. I'm leaning way heavier into the technical side. So there's when you take a look at games, when you look at game design, right? When you look at game design, you have this. Right? You have a box, right? And then you can have a box that is. You have a box that is. You can have a box that is technical. You have a box that is narrative. You have a box that is visual, right? In each of these three boxes, I'm just doing 3 for now, right? Or expression, right? Narrative, expression, whatever, right? These boxes are, it's a balance. So my narrowing these guys down quite a bit, right? And I'm just expanding the ever-living shit out of technical, right? Like that's how I'm making my games. Um, right, and I'm not necessarily saying that you have to do that either. Right? But this is kind of like what my, this is what my games look like. You know, your game is something much less technical. I mean, your current project is fairly technical, but for the most part, it's fairly minimal. And technically speaking, it's not that complicated. Right? You're only adding very few new things on a technical level. A lot of it is just going to be assets, right? So you have more narrative. Your narrative is, your your content, I should say. Right? Your content is very wide. And your narrative is fairly wide, right? Like this is what your war games look like. And again, there's nothing wrong with that, right? Um, it's just a different expression, right? It's just a little bit of a different paradigm. Like that's it. There is no right or wrong in game development. And then there's games like, Undertale, or Deltarune, where you have, Undertale and Deltarune look a lot like, well, I mean, also like FNAF, Five Nights at Freddy's. Five Nights at Freddy's looks like this. Right. This is what FNAF is. This is Five Nights at Freddy's looks like this. Okay. Um. So, like, this is FNAF and Undertale. Like the amount of content is severely outweighs the narrative. Right. Or like this is Undertale, and then FNAF is, looking like this, right? Um, right. So it's just, you're just banking on different aspects of it, right? I really like Red. I really like the technical side of things, right? That's where I get the most joy in making games and game development in general, right? Um, so for me, I'm much more technically minded. I'm much more of a technical developer, an engineer, right? I'm a games engineer. I'm not really a game developer, right? I'm definitely not a game designer. um, and there's just a lot of things that go into that. And you will see a lot of very highly, you will see very technical projects. You will also see very, simple projects that don't really, that aren't very technically demanding, right? But they can still be very, yeah. So I could do, I don't know if I don't know if I'm trying to think here. Um, so how do you do sprites? How do you draw sprites? For one, you need to make sure that they're hitting the that the ray is even intersecting with the sprite and where, right? So I could do billboards. Billboards are a thing. Um, it, the so how do you do billboards, right? So let's talk about billboarded objects and billboarded objects. You're gonna have like a whole like list of billboarded objects and put them in, and not have to worry about it. The issue with that, however, is that you have like a static list of things. It's not very efficient. Um, right. So it just kind of depends, right? Stepping through the data structure is what is not very efficient, right? And it is largely the actual data structure that we are trying to manage, because later on it's going to be paramount that I have a good data structure, because I will be sending huge portions to the graphics card, right? And I don't want to be using up all of the VRAM, right? Like I really don't want to be using up all of the VRAM, because that's not good, right? So let's take a look at right. So let's take a look at how billboarding works, right? So effectively, you can say that you have you have some object, right? And then here you also have an x and a y, right? Pos.x, pos dot y, right? Pos.x, pos.y. And then you have right, you have pos.x, pos.y. And then if the well, if the ray hits Right, well, I mean, if the length of basically if um, the length of OBJ well, I mean, yeah, OBJ dot pause minus player dot pause, right? The length of that is less than D, then draw the billboard. Draw OBJ. Right. I think that's effectively how it works. Right. And like understanding this is something that's, really good. Being able to, like that's just the billboard, right? So that would be super easy. And then we can just send a list of, of, um, of positions to the graphics card. Just an array of however many objects that we want, right? But what's that going to require? That would require me to actually draw objects, tables, whatever, tables, potted plants, etc. Right, and that would require me to create assets, and I don't know if I'm ready for that per se. The other option is that we have a cell-based object creation system, right? Or we say that within this particular cell, there is this kind of object, right? Like a door. Like the Wolfenstein 3D doors. That's how they worked. They also had the eye height of 0.5 and the cell height as 1. Right? I have something a little bit more sophisticated so that the doorways are a little bit more narrow. Because Wolfenstein has let's see what's out now. Okay, cool. Right, because Wolfenstein is this. Right. Right. Because this is Wolfenstein. This is literally what Wolfenstein is. And this is probably close to the speed that Wolfenstein runs at too. So this is not like a terrible feeling one. Okay. This isn't like the worst thing in the world. So that's something that'd be kind of nice, right? But like there's like this kind of system has. I mean, also there's a lot going on here with like the look now looks kind of really bad. sorta, kinda. um, it looks really wonky, right? But like, I'm super pleased with, like this is what Wolfenstein 3 looks like, and I feel like this is very claustrophobic, right? Um, this is very cramped. This is also what Kern, what the first version of Kern was. What's this? So like the cells are a lot larger. Everything looks, everything feels a lot more claustrophobic. The big thing that I want to do though is I want to have a feedback. I want to have a feedback loop. Because let's say player I is um if we have this right back here, then like this seems a lot more like this feels a lot better to me, right? Because I want the player to be just a little bit taller so that the roof is more constraining. Like it feels stuffy. It's like I used to actually live in a basement, right? So I'm like 6 feet tall. So I crack my skull on the on the kitchen dome light all the time. It was wonderful. All the doors were shorter than standard, so I'd have to duck through doorways all the time to like get into the bathroom and shit. Like yeah. um, my wife absolutely loved it. Uh, yeah, my wife adored it because she's a lot shorter than me. She's quite a bit shorter than me. So being able to reach all the cupboards and cabinets and stuff was fucking awesome for her. But it was kind of a pain in the it was kind of a pain in the ass for me. Right? Yeah, and honestly, I kind of miss living in the basement. It was cool. It was neat. But I kind of miss it and don't miss it because it was horrifically humid in there too, or at least one of the rooms was super, like excessively humid, like all the time, always for some fucking reason. Yeah, but we had like blackout curtains in the room that I was in and stuff like that, and that was nuts. Especially working overnights, because I'd close the curtains and there would be no light. It was great. Yeah. I like living in my cave. Yeah. So this kind of height is nice. I mean, there's kind of a lot of things that I could do. So I could say like increase increase the ceiling height, increase the eye height, right? Because I could do all that too. I don't really know what else it is that I would want to do with it, right? Because like I like that. I like those heights. But I also don't really know. Right? And I'm also not entirely sure how it is that I'm to its footsy around with it, right? So, you know, like those are all things that I could be doing. So why did Axel spark? None. Nausea. None. ¿Por qué? ¿Por qué, mi amigo? B-top is using basically nothing. That's good. We want to see that. Yeah. That is interesting. You are? Helix. And I also need to set the LSP and all that stuff too. I still need to do that. I mean, I'm probably gonna do that while joining in on the Skunkers team. And the Skunkers, the Skunk. Yeah. And we got the wood. I really like the wood. The wood texture came out really good. I mean, and that's the thing, is that I really like doing really big, impactful things. Right? Like, I know that some of the things that I've done, like, don't really matter that much, but I also know that they kind of matter a lot. Okay? So, like that. Like the brick corners, right? The brick corners themselves is you know, the brick corners was something that was kind of bugging me. I didn't like how sharp those were, so I've knocked those down a bit, and I really like that. We also have, you know, a bunch of other things that are like really nicely dialed in. I'm super pleased with. And the player height, ceiling height, all that stuff. And it's only a handful of extra cycles. Yeah, and I also know that like a lot of these things, like the wall texture, like a lot of this stuff gets, like a lot of this stuff gets unrolled and collapsed in by the compiler. So that's not. Yeah. Let's take a look. So what else needs to be a thing? You know, got the min cell, no cell. And this is also something that I want to... Well, I don't know if I care about that. Because, like, the wall distances is going to be an SDF. Alright. Like, this is going to be an SDF. What do I mean by an SDF? It's a signed distance function. But I'm also kind of getting a little bit wibbly-wobbly. Kind of running out of that booty. Some things to think about. I'm going to be doing a little bit more thinkerating tomorrow. In the morning, I do believe. Today's Friday. Yeah. So I'm gonna be thinking about this stuff tomorrow. But I am going to end it. Yeah. Thank you for stopping by if you're still here. Thank you for watching. I'm just kind of running out of steam on ideas of what to look into. And I do kind of want to finish up dealing with some config stuff, right? Like here, I could do properties and like change the sans regular because I want this to be like what? Like a monospace bold, monospace regular. Right? So that all that can be properly. I mean, that's pretty nice. Not that much. Right? Because there's no space in there. I could do a space here and a space here. And then that pans it out properly. Right? That's kind of nice, right? So, mono. Right. Oh, yeah. And then I can get rid of that. Get rid of that. And then I gotta get rid of that and that. Right. Alright. Right. Do you mean? Interesting. I want that here, or do I want that there? Do that, right? So that's all like split and all that stuff, right? So we have, you know, the date and the time and the day of the week and all that stuff. But any woozles. So, yeah. I'm gonna end it here. But yeah, thanks for stopping by and all that stuff.